don't come. So my people make you lie down. Yo, yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout. Oh, yo, yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, man of the masses. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun die the political. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. This one not day of in mind. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say, make we no talk. But thank God say, Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo, my people make you shout. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come.
Hello there.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Mayegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ará yìí.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. It is Mayegun Live.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Read the caption of the broadcast as usual, all right? The description as well. It's not much, but it is loaded tonight. Then like the broadcast, share it, and relax.
Godfatherism.
I don't know if I should call it good news or bad news. Tinubu is not just a danger to Nigeria, just like Boko Haram was the foundation layer, the danger as well for Nigeria. Tinubu is more like a danger to the rest of West Africa. Tonight, you will understand. If you have been following the developments in the region in the last 10 months, especially this broadcast is for you. If you think, what would this have to do with Nigeria? A lot. No thanks to Tinubu that a lot are beginning to see. Is he a foreign asset? I mean, they have a lot of compromise on him. And the giant of Africa, the chairman of ECOWAS, has broken up ECOWAS. Tinubu, the archangel, is he the last man that will finish not just Nigeria, the effect that will spread all over Africa? Is this the beginning? And because of the peculiarity of the topic tonight, I am going to be a storyteller. And it is also a Sunday, which happens to be our Sunday sermon, which means I would not be holding anything back. I will be saying things as they, as they come. as they are. Now, if you are someone who has kind of soft skins, light skins for truth, this broadcast may not be for you. If you are the type who belongs to the politically correct wearies, I am talking about those who love to gaslight you when you are pointing out the danger that the actions of these criminals in Nigeria poses to every Nigerian, now to Africans. They will want to gaslight you by asking you to don't spread all our dirty linens in the public. Stop giving Nigeria a bad name. You know, all those of you who belong to that political, respect the elders. I mean, don't talk like that. I mean, even though I am not a supporter of Tinubu, I don't support APC, but I'm a Yoruba man. I'm an African. We're supposed to respect our elders. You are a politically correct weary. This broadcast may not be for you. I am just kind of trying to be nice here. Okay? Because I will say things exactly as I feel, and I'm responsible for whatever I say. Just remember that, okay? It is Sunday sermon. It is a no holds bar segment. So, like I said, I will be telling you stories because one of the problems that has been sort of diagnosed for Nigerians, young, old, educated, illiterate, it doesn't matter. It is the problem of a Stockholm syndrome. The ability to quickly forget the pain, unleashed or inflicted on you just the moment you survived it. Stockholm syndrome. On Mayegun's Diary Politico, it is very, very rare for anybody to suffer Stockholm syndrome here, except when they are intentionally suffering from selective amnesia. I didn't remember that. Oh, I forgot that. Thanks for reminding. No. You are selecting what you want to remember and what you don't want to remember. So I will be a storyteller. If you are a boring type, that my stories can get so boring. My stories have never been boring, and they are always right to the point, just to make it easier. Even for the dumb bestie of the dumps. I am talking about people that are naturally dumber than the than the doorbells. I try to kind of relate with everyone. My messages relate with them. So sorry if it sounds like, oh, you're just good, telling story. Go straight to the point. You have no idea where I am going. So if you are a regular here, then just follow me. In May 2023, there was a rumor that there could be a coup in Niger Republic. And Niger Republic is just the next door neighbor to Nigeria. Let me show you. Now, if you take a look at the map on the right, in fact, the map on your screen, right, you will see all those red highlighted areas, yeah? You see Mali, you see Niger. Now, you see that place where you see Bulaba representing the blue place, right? That is Nigeria. Now, that is how close we are to Niger. Very close. In fact, there are so many Nigerians who have occupied different positions. I am talking about powerful positions in Nigeria. There are those from the Sharia North that believes that people in Niger Republic, they are their cousins, separated by colonialism. They speak French in Niger, just like in Mali. Burkina Faso, and Chad, and those places, including Cameroon. Nigeria speaks English because Nigeria was colonized by Britain. However, there was a ongoing or plan of or rumor of a coup. In June, they struck. They removed their president, who happened to be a very close pal with Bokwari, to show that the Nigerians are cousins to the Sharia North. Governors in the Sharia North of Nigeria, when they write their annual budgets, they want to be funded by the rob Peter to pay Paul sort of allocation, monthly allocation. They always budget for Niger Republic. If you go to some of this Sharia North, as they are budgeting in their state, they are budgeting for police, they are budgeting for roads, they are budgeting for schools, hospitals, including oil rigs in Niger Republic. It was so close. And instead of speaking French and speaking English, they just speak like Larubawa Arabic. That's how close they are. But just like Nigeria or Sharia North, corruption was like the order of the day. According to the coupists, who now call themselves revolutionaries, as the people have accepted them so far, right? They said the resources of Niger Republic, it was so bad that nobody sort of knew until June last year after the coup that the foreign reserve for Niger Republic is in France. And as much as France is helping Niger Republic to save partly some of their money in their banks, Niger Republic cannot go to the bank and take the money out. They can only borrow from the money and pay interest. Meanwhile, their own resources are being exploited. And guess what? Niger Republic can only sell their resources. Hang on. It is only French-approved companies that can extract mineral resources from Niger Republic. When they are extracted, it is only France that they can sell all those resources to. This has been in place for decades. Here you get. Now, not just that, if they are selling, for example, crude oil, if a crude oil, a barrel of crude oil is $100 in the rest of the world, and there is crude oil in Niger Republic, when that crude oil is to be sold, it must be sold to France. And France will probably just pay maybe €3 per barrel. It was that ridiculous. You have no idea. It was that ridiculous. So they remained in poverty that way. But you see, the elites, the ones that controls power, they were okay with the stipends that they get from all of this. They were fine. So they struck. Now, the part of the reasons why they actually struck was that they now realized, the soldiers said, in Mali, in Burkina Faso, when they overthrew their own government, they said the same thing. They said, apart from the corruption, you see that axis, the Sahel, all the countries in that part, in that desert, they were battling with Tuareg terrorists still, all kinds of terrorists. And they now realized that some of these terrorists, they were actually being funded by the West. France, that is supposedly giving weapons to these countries to defend themselves. France, America, that have their bases in that axis. Despite France and America base or bases there, terrorism in that place is of next level. And guess those who have been the casualties? The soldiers, just like the people of the middle belt of Nigeria. They have been the shield for the rest of the southern part of Nigeria from the invading Fulani Islamic jihadists. That's exactly what most of these other West African countries like that. That's who they have been. They were losing their soldiers like Omo. That's one of the corruption that pisses them off, that actually pisses them off. That your corruption has gotten to a stage whereby these soldiers have become pawns in their games. The country will say, we are fighting terrorism. All right? America will give weapons, Britain will give weapons, France will give weapons, and then behind the scene, the gun runners, when you go and look at them, okay, they are also from France, they are from, the same Europe and America. So at the end of the day, the terrorists are also having the similar weapons that they are giving to soldiers. It was pretty much like, oh yeah, kill yourselves. While you are busy doing all of that, yeah, the extraction and the exploitation of the mineral resources from all those places will continue unabated. So when the coup started, or when coup started in Burkina Faso, Guinea, in Mali, it was sort of like it's going to be a matter of time. Well, here is, if you are watching this from Nigeria, this is how this withdrawal or what have you will affect you. But again, just keep following this my story. France lost in Mali. They've lost Burkina Faso. Guinea is gone. And here is Mali. One of the biggest countries in Africa, surrounded by precious mineral resources that could make all these people wealthy, because their population is not that many. There are not many. But rather, they are wallowing in abject poverty. So, you see this corrupt government from all these West African countries, they came together and they said, we have to start what is called regional forces. That means we'll pull all our forces together from all these countries, including Nigeria, the supposed giant of Africa. Okay? We'll pull our resources together, our soldiers and all of them. And we'll combat these terrorists head on to ensure that they do not spill over into other countries. So that then gave some of these corrupt African presidents in these countries that are now controlled by coupists today. It was like a business. Nigeria was spending billions, hundreds of billions of naira, paying some of these people to what? To help continue to fight the terrorism afar from Nigeria. But the money never really got anywhere. Nigeria has no border. There is no border up north. Sure, you can stroll in and stroll out anytime you want. The terrorists will move in, they will move out whenever they wanted. So for years, these regions have been bleeding. However, in June, they removed, this was like a few days after Bokwari gave power to Tinubu. So, Niger Republic also tasted their own coup. They removed their president. That was supposed to be like, okay, let's use diplomacy now. Normal. Whatever is the business going on inside Niger, it should be internal business of theirs. We can only offer advice as the brotherly. The most important thing is to ensure that all those changes of government, they do not affect the fight against terror. Nigeria has a lot to lose. Nigeria has been bleeding economically and then, humanly too. So what price would you like to pay to fight and stop terrorism if you can? How many what is that price that is so much to pay? But remember, Bokwari was no longer there. Tinubu was there. It's now there. And Niger Republic, they have arrested their president and his family. and they were going to try them for treason, for trading the lives of their people for money. Don't forget the fact that the guy also rigged himself like they rigged in Tinubu that was combating illegitimacy. So the guy rigged himself in, the guys who were protecting him removed him less than a year after. And that became the business of Nigeria. Without considering anything, they started pulling the button and the string of a compromised Tinubu. Remember, in 8 months, Tinubu has destroyed Nigeria, worse than the 8 years of Buhari. But they won't tell you that. In fact, it is also like an hard one to accept that they knew the destruction that Buhari did to Nigeria, Abi, and they possibly were supposed to have a plan. 8 months after that, Nigeria have sank to the point that people are now saying probably Nigeria is now more like 40 years backward. And guess what? All of the steps that Buhari took that brought Nigeria to these economic ruins, the decisions like giving immunity to terrorists, why the terrorism and the violence and the killings and the kidnappings are still pretty much active and ongoing. Terrorists could walk about with AK-47. At the end of the day, farmers were either killed, kidnapped, or completely sent out of their communities and farms. Nigeria collapsed. And these same actions and inactions of your government supposedly continues unabated. So, Tinubu will ruin Nigeria to the point that he would have to run away. Write that down. Yeah, write it down. Because in case if you don't understand what trajectory means, just continue to pay attention. Without any thinking, without any consultation, with no communication, Tinubu started the plan given to him. You must remove those people from that power and return that guy back to power. Bazoum. In Niger Republic, the people were celebrating the end of a thief. And they felt liberated with no consideration of anything. He was a ready and willing tool in the hands of his puppet masters. The people that have a lot to tell Nigerians and prevent this disaster. And the disaster has happened to Nigeria. Economically, you probably think you're still going to pray your way out of it, Abi. Or you are kind of believing that Tinubu has some magic wand or some economic recovery that is going on that they are going to do, and then suddenly you are going to come back. Don't worry, you will find out soon. All these steps, incessant borrowings that continue to give terrible, terrible, horrible, horrible conditions, including devaluation of their own money, repeatedly again and again, World Bank. All these policies that continue to destroy Nigeria, all of them executed by Buhari, are now being completed by Tinubu, the man that the world watch Nigeria captured. I mean, they did see that, even though they probably would have expected Nigerians to do more than this talking that we are talking now. Like, oh, why didn't you just hit the streets when you felt like you didn't want this disaster? If you really understood what disaster this would be. Now, the disaster is going West Africa. They made the disaster the chairman of ECOWAS. And suddenly he felt so powerful. He was going to do what France couldn't do. He was going to do what America couldn't do. At least Nigeria is the giant of Africa. How long do you think it's going to take to invade the Niger Republic and arrest all these guys and reinstate the removed president? Suddenly, it became an issue. Diplomatic role. You know what Tinubu did? He gave them another and he said, return that person to power or There was, I mean, come on. If me and you could be so alarmed at the level of exploitation that took place in Niger Republic and all these countries that some of you are just discovering today, if you and I could be alarmed this much due to little information we have, right? Imagine the level of information at the disposal of Nigeria about all these things going on. But because they are all rogues and criminals, they would rather take advantage of it. How much money can we make from it? Tinubu did not make any consultation. He wasn't interested if they were the cousins to the Sharia North. You all remember, he just cut off their power. And this wasn't something you have to do. Giving them power is like sharing something through a bilateral treaty. When they came together, I think it was about 47 years ago, when they came together to start ECOWAS, it was it was completely for economic reasons. Okay, so let me explain that to you. There are about 12 countries or so in ECOWAS. And that's, that ECOWAS, what do you call it? Abbreviation, is Economic of West African States. And you see, which means these countries are going to share every economic, every economic advantage that they have together. For example, you see that river Niger, did not originate from Nigeria. You hear Niger, that's Niger, okay? The water emanated from them, passes through them, just like the water continued to go down south. And just like when you have drainage, your gutter, and the drainage water, like rainwater is currently like, the flood is currently passing through that your drainage and is going on like that. That force that water uses when it passes through drainage. Woo, that's exactly what River Niger is. So that's exactly what they tap from, the current of that water as it is flowing down south. That was the water they dammed, okay, to build Kainji. And that is the current they tapped to generate electricity in places like, I think, Shiroro or Kainji. And in that treaty is that Niger Republic will not build the dam. Because if Niger Republic build a dam, they will stop the water. There will be nothing called River Niger to generate electricity from. So to now, and this same water did not stop in Nigeria. It flew straight into the ocean, including to the west, like Benin Republic and all of them. So in that treaty of ECOWAS, it was, Nigeria will build the dam, but Nigeria will share the electricity with all these countries, and they will pay Nigeria for that electricity that Nigeria gives to them, instead of Niger to build it and deny Nigeria the dream of any sort of hydro dam or hydroelectric whatever. Now, a lot of you may not know the significance of this. Tinubu didn't give a damn. He cut off the electricity. Now, Niger can actually dam the water now. It's their water too. They can dam it and you can forget all your hydro powered electricity generation or generators. Tinubu didn't think of that. Boom. Nearly a year now, they've cut off the electricity in Niger. Tinubu cut off this transnational transactions. All those trade whereby if you are trading between Niger and Nigeria, okay, so to make it easier for both of the traders, okay, so there is this payment mechanism or payment system that works within this region. Tinubu cut them off. So yeah, what else is their purpose in the ECOWAS anymore? So they had to leave them that is the plot. Weaken them. If you weaken them, their people will begin to complain. So all their hospitals, they had no electricity. Their schools, They had no electricity. For a long time now. And it was because of Tinubu. That is declaration of war on its own. But all of this, they were doing that just like they did with Russia, when they would say sanctions, economic sanctions against Russia. Tinubu was not thinking about the joint forces put together to prevent the influx of terrorists into Nigeria, because that is their destination anyway. That is the only place that is so weak in the rest of Africa that the GI in the giant is a mockery of the world giant. Remove the GI and leave ant alone. That's what Nigeria has become. So weak that the securities in Nigeria cannot protect Nigerians inside Nigeria, that Nigerians have become refugees. In some of these countries, Tinubu did not think of that. In Niger Republic alone, there are over 250,000 Nigerians from the Sharia North who are refugees in Niger Republic. No joke. In Chad alone, there are over 400,000 Nigerians who ran away from places like Adamawa, places like Yobe, Taraba, all these places. From terrorists, they ran into Adamawa for years now. They have been in, they ran into Cameroon. They are still in Chad, Cameroon. They are there today as refugees. Tinubu didn't think of all of that. So yeah, what's the purpose of ECOWAS anymore if we do not share anything together anymore? So all of these sanctions didn't work, unfortunately for Tinubu. Tinubu started, before all these sanctions, Tinubu, to show force, they started mobilizing military soldiers to Sokoto. They want to invade Niger Republic. Illegitimate Tinubu, satisfying his Western puppet masters, decided to start mobilizing. They started 25,000 soldiers. 25,000 soldiers mobilized to Sokoto. And you know all these jihadists north, they were alarmed. You want to invade Niger? What about our people? You know that stuff. You know the drama then. But he couldn't. He didn't make any consultation. But he started threatening another independent country because France was losing their grip on that country for the first time in decades. And the giant of Africa, the big brother Nigeria, could not provide protection for those countries, and caught the bluff of the West and say, listen, you either give them the right deal and keep them stable. For the sake of the rest of us, there is no way we are going to throw these guys under the bus, because they are so crucial in our fight against this terror stuff. And if there's anything that will break bonds with them, all they will do is just what? They will just allow if the terrorists are not coming into their country, they are just passing through. All they will do is that, please continue your journey. Just don't stay here. And that is doable. It is very, very possible. Nigeria have no border. Benin have no border. The terrorism can keep flowing down. In 5 years' time, it won't just be Nigeria that will be complaining about terrorism. It will spread as far as Ghana, because Ghana is part of ECOWAS. And guess what? The entire Ghanaian army, they are not even up to all the bandits in in Niger State alone in Nigeria. The terrorists that are domiciled in Niger State in Nigeria, the entire force of Benin Republic, the entire force of Ghana combined together, they are not up to those in Niger State alone. And then Nigeria, you are already getting used to that anyway. Here you get. They are not fighting them to stop them. They are still working on placating them. For now, they said they have 500,000 hectares of land that they want to use to placate the terrorists. Now, what this simply means is that for now, whatever you are experiencing in Nigeria, based on insecurity, is about to get worse because you have a compromat as your president. I'm not wishing it on you. I am telling you, what does this mean, Mayegun, to Nigeria? What it means is that for now, may everybody bear their own papa name. You see these guys who are like the middle belt of West Africa. or the middle belt of Africa, the ones that are trying to protect the Tuareg terrorists and other recruited Islamic terrorists across this region, those who have been fighting them for decades, that you have not really felt them that much until when you begin to, until you brought in APC, Egbekegbe, that totally compromised your security system in Nigeria to the point that the terrorists' lives are more valued than the lives of the citizens of Nigeria as at present. That's the truth. Now you are about to understand what terrorism truly means. Because if the status quo continues, where Nigerian military and Nigerian security who have been compromised, if they continue to play defense, continue to take pictures with all the weapons that they are given, until the terrorists will come and cut them away, you see, the terrorism will spread beyond Nigeria this time around in the next 5 years. And that's what makes people started feeling like, wait, could Tinubu be the archangel? Could Tinubu be the real final foreign asset or spy that has gained power through the state capture of the biggest the most populated black nation on earth, and his job is to begin to weaken the region, weaken his country, and expose all of us to whatever danger that is going to befall us in the coming years. You see, conspiracy theories can be right. And when you begin to piece all these together, they don't make any sense. Because what exactly? 8 months, Baba, 8 months. Tinubu scattered the entire system of Nigeria beyond the destruction of Boko Haram to start with. In 8 months, Baba, Tinubu destroyed nearly 5 decades old organization that was put together to strengthen the Western Africa. Something that was supposed to strengthen the West Africa. In 8 months, Tinubu scattered everything. And right now, everybody they bear in Papa name. That is where we are at now. So what I'm going to do next is that I'm going to kind of take you to go and see these guys and what they have been up to. Okay? You may not understand French like me, but in one of their broadcasts, it was a little bit subtitled, just for your own sake, right?
Après 49 ans d'existence, les voyants peuples du Burkina, du Mali et du Niger constatent, avec beaucoup de regrets, d'amertume et une grande déception, que leur organisation s'est éloignée des idéaux de ses pères fondateurs et du panafricanisme. En outre, la CEDEAO, c'est l'influence de puissances étrangères, trahissant ses principes fondateurs, est devenue une menace pour ses États membres et ses populations dont elle est censée assurer le bonheur. En effet, l'organisation n'a pas apporté assistance à nos États dans le cadre de notre lutte existentielle contre le terrorisme et l'insécurité. Pire, lorsque ces États ont décidé de prendre leur destin en main, elle a adopté une posture irrationnelle et inacceptable en imposant des sanctions illégitimes, illégales, inhumaines et irresponsables en violation de ses propres textes. Toutes choses qui ont davantage fragilisé les populations déjà meurtries par des années de violence imposées par des hordes terroristes instrumentalisées et téléguidées. Face à cette situation qui perdure, leurs excellences le capitaine Ibrahim Traoré, le colonel Assimi Goïta et le général de brigade Abdourahmane Tchani, respectivement chef d'État du Burkina Faso, de la République du Mali et de la République du Niger, prenant toutes leurs responsabilités devant l'histoire et répondant aux attentes, préoccupations et aspirations de leur population, décident en toute souveraineté du retrait sans délai du Burkina Faso, du Mali et du Niger de la communauté économique des États de l'Afrique de l'Ouest. Après...
So, they said This ECOWAS does not protect their economic interest. They have become the puppets for the puppet masters who are now teleguiding terrorists that are indeed continuing to destroy these nations. But yet, when these few countries stood up against their own corrupt governments and took their own destinies in their own hands, instead of all these West African countries to come around and honor their own treaties, they violated their own treaties because Nigeria told them they could do it. ECOWAS was going to attack Niger Republic, but Nigeria was going to provide the soldiers. So it was Nigeria that was going to attack Niger Republic. Nigeria, under Tinubu, made enmity out of a Niger Republic, right? And that has led to this. I will read the text of what you just, sort of watched. So word for word. According to them, it's a joint communique from Burkina Faso, the Republic of Mali, and the Republic of Niger, eager to achieve integration between the states of the sub-region and driven by the ideals of brotherhood, solidarity, mutual aid, peace, and development. Their Excellencies General Abubakar Sagole Lamizana, General Amimosa Toure, and Lieutenant Colonel Sene Kunche, respectively, heads of state of Upper Volta, current Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, created with 12 of their peers on May 28, 1975 in Lagos, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. After 49 years of existence, the valiant people of Burkina, Mali, and Niger note with much regret, bitterness, and great disappointment that their organization has moved away from the ideals of its founding fathers and Pan-Africanism. Furthermore, ECOWAS, under the influence of foreign powers, betraying its founding principles, has become a threat to its member states and its populations, whose happiness it is supposed to ensure. Indeed, the organization has not provided assistance to our states in the context of our existential fight against terrorism and insecurity. Worse, when these states decided to take their destiny into their own hands, it adopted an irrational and unacceptable posture by imposing illegal, illegitimate, inhumane, and irresponsible sanctions in violation of its own texts, all things which have further weakened populations already bruised by years of violence imposed by instrumentalized and remote-controlled terrorist odds. So, faced with this continuing situation, Their Excellencies Captain Ibrahim Traore, Colonel Assimi Goita, and Brigadier General Abdurrahman Tiani, respectively heads of state of Burkina Faso, the Republic of Mali, and the Republic of Niger, are taking all their responsibilities in the face of history and responding to the expectations, concerns, and aspirations of their populations, decided in complete sovereign on the immediate withdrawal of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger from the Economic Community of West African States are done in Ouagadougou, Bamako, and Niamey, January 28, 2024. No thanks to Kolu Tifnumbu. In French, again, right? And this time around is actually from the representatives of the Niger government. Briefly as well.
Excellence, le capitaine Ibrahim Traoré, le colonel Assimi Goïta et le général de brigade Abdurrahman Tiani, respectivement chef d'État du Burkina Faso, de la République du Mali et de la République du Niger, prenant toutes leurs responsabilités devant l'histoire, décident en toute souveraineté du retrait sans délai du Burkina Faso, du Mali et du Niger de la communauté économique des États de l'Afrique de l'Ouest. Excellence, le capitaine.
Do you understand that French, right? It's the same thing. Just so you know, we are no longer part of the ECOWAS. Nonsense. May they manage their own affair. We'll be on our own. You've never really been of anything to us anyway. For 49 years, you've never been, you know, rather. Well, I don't think that statement is 100% true. True. If you are watching me from Niger, or you are watching me from Mali or Burkina Faso, it is not true that the ECOWAS as a body, they have not supported you in the fight against the terrorists, okay? Maybe the West, but when it comes to the West Africa, Nigeria has been giving money, even though they were stealing it, okay? On record, Nigeria has been giving money towards regional security, this security, that. And I'm talking about billions of Nigeria money. Okay? Just so you know that. So that statement of nothing at all is not true. Okay? However, in context, right, they said